Thank you all for coming. My name is Dee Buckstaff, and I am the Vice President for the League of Women Voters of Wyoming. Our forum tonight will begin with the candidates for Teton County Commission, and then move on to a presentation about the Justice Center Special Purpose Excise Tax Proposal. This forum was put together with partners from the League of Women Voters of Wyoming, the Teton County Library, Jackson Hole News and Guide, Buck Rail, and KHOL Jackson Hole Community Radio. Spanish translation is available during tonight's forum, and Sam Pope is filming. These services are being supported by funding from the Teton County Library Foundation and Friends and the Community Foundation of Jackson Hole. Thank you to everyone who helped us put these forums together this year. Our timekeeper tonight is Susan Don. She is a League of Women Voters of Wyoming board member. Candidates will have 1 minute for an introductory comments, and then 1.5 minutes to answer questions posed by panelists. The order of questions will rotate among the candidates. Susan will show you a card that says you have 30 seconds left, and then a stop for when your time is up. Go ahead and finish your sentence or your thought, but if you take too much time, she's going to ring a bell or something. And she can get kind of aggressive about it. Candidates have a red card that may be used twice and is worth 1 minute for each use. That 1 minute may be used to expand on an answer, make rebuttal comments, or speak about an issue that has not otherwise been considered. Candidates can signal your intent to use the card by waving it at me to get attention. So I know you do. Candidates, please be sure to speak directly into the microphone when it's your turn so that the audience and the video equipment can hear you. At the end of the question period, candidates will have 1 minute to sum up. We'll take a short break to shuffle things around a little bit, and then we'll start the SPEC presentation given by Sheriff Carr, Clerk of Court Sutton, and County Attorney Stout. After the presentation, there will be time for a question and answer session by the media panelists. Our media panelists are Sophia Boyd-Flegel with KHLL and Charlie Sutherland with the News and Guide. They have come up with questions for this evening, and we're open for suggestions from all of you in the audience. Sandy Shuptrine has some cards over there, and you can just kind of wave your hand in the air. She'll bring you a card. You can write down your question, and then she'll take it up to the media panelists. Let's see. The next forum is tomorrow night, right here, same time, same place, beginning at 6 p.m., and it will be for the school board candidates. November 5th is election day, and you can vote at any time now by going to the county admin building on Willow Street, down in the basement, because, you know, that's where they keep them. And you can vote in person there, and also there's absentee ballots that can be out. And then once November 5th comes, we have the voting centers. And don't ask me where all of them are, but I come here to the library, so, and I know the rec center is another one. And then I believe Wheaton Pest, maybe? And Old Wilson Schoolhouse, yep, I did know that one. And then what's in Alta? So you can go to any one of those, wherever you want to, which is so cool. All right, we can begin, and we'll start with Vicki O'Donoghue. Go ahead and give your introductory.
Somebody's phone put those away. I'm Vicki O'Donoghue. Most of you know me as a driver's education teacher in the county. I coach soccer here. I've been in this county for 27 years, and I know this county. I know the roads. I've driven every road in this county, And also, I know the students and the parents, and I am open to their voices. I listen, and I've heard a lot of their voices about how they feel about this county. I have a son that he grew up here, I raised him, and he moved on to Cincinnati because he wanted to buy a house. So I'm here to represent you, and I'm an independent because I believe that I want to represent all the students. Thank you.
We start a fresh one? Good evening, everybody, and special thanks to the League of Women Voters, local media, and Teton County Library, and all of you for coming together tonight. My name is Len Carlin. I'm grateful to be a Democratic Party nominee for the Teton County Commission. A little background on me. I started working in Jackson Hole in 1979 at Dornan's Chuck Wagon, 79 and 80 there, 81 through 86. I was in the Snake River Canyon as a shuttle driver and river guide. 83 to 92, I worked at the Jackson Hole Alliance for Responsible Planning, finishing as its executive director. The last 28 years I've been a Wyoming attorney in general civil practice. I've had lots of nonprofit community service, Wyoming Outdoor Council Board, Community Children's Project, Olson Schoolhouse Community Center, Rotary Club of Jackson Hole, currently on the Wyoming Community Foundation Board. I have 3 priorities in my campaign: conservation, affordable housing, and transportation. We'll hear about that more later. I'm pleased to have received earlier today the endorsement of Shelter Jackson Hole on the affordable housing matter. I'm grateful for that, and details to follow.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Natalia Macker, and it has been an honor and a privilege to represent you on the County Commission for the last 9 years. Thank you as well to the League of Women Voters for spearheading wealth of democracy since women's suffrage began. I started my career in public service as a volunteer member of the Parks and Rec Board in 2013, and then I ran for office for the first time after visiting the legislature and wondering where all the women were. Although I did not win that race, I ended up exactly where I was supposed to be, on your county commission, working side by side with all of you to solve our problems. My experience and relationships extend beyond Teton County. I'm the Vice President of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association that helps lead our counties and our engagement with Cheyenne. I also serve on the Wyoming Community College Commission, the DEQ's Land Quality Advisory Board, and have the great privilege of chairing the Wyoming Council for Women with Department of Workforce Services. Outside of public life, I'm the Artistic Director of Offscore Theater Company and the proud mother of 3 exuberant boys.
A minute and a half, huh?
What?
1 minute. Hi, my name is Melcher Moore. 6th generation Jackson Hole, Wyoming. My parents are Bob and Leanne Moore. I keep forgetting to say that. So we came out of Moosehead Ranch, Warren Monroe, and my grandfather gave you guys Wayne May Park. Some of you guys have seen an article about me that was in the newspaper. If you want to talk about that, you can Google my name, and my phone number will pop up, and you can call me and talk about that. Don't drink and drive. But what I want to talk about is senior citizen memory care, behavioral health, child care. I think all of those things are falling on the wayside as we talk about development. We all know that traffic is an issue. We all know that we need water quality. But there are essential services like firemen's salaries that we need to be talking about as well.
Okay. I forgot to ask the media panel who was going to start asking questions.
Good. Thank you all for coming. I'm Charlie Sutherland, local government reporter for the Jackson Hole News and Guide. Talk about that.
Yeah, and just making sure we got these situated right. I don't know.
No.
It's pretty soft.
Len,
How's that? Oh,
Try again. Thank you all for coming. I'm Charlie Sutherland, the local government reporter for the Jackson Hole News and Guide.
And I'm testing my microphone, and I'm Sophia Boyd Flegel. I'm the former local government reporter in Charlie's position at the News and Guide, and I'm now the managing editor at KHOL, your community radio station. So yeah, thanks all for coming. We're going to start with 2 icebreakers. Don't overthink it.
What do you like to have for breakfast? And do you do anything while you eat?
I have cereal for breakfast and I read the newspaper. New York Times typically is my get it started in the morning resource.
To Natalie.
If I had my complete druthers, I would have cold pizza for breakfast. It's one of my favorites. And I'm usually wrangling children, so honestly, if I could choose something to do, it would just be to sit in silence.
Coffee, DOG burrito, monster.
I'm the healthy kid. I have a protein shake in the morning. I work out a lot. And also, I read the Bible in the morning. So that's what I do.
All right.
Send it down to Natalie.
What are you reading right now?
Oh, I just started, I'm like 2 pages in, and so I don't have the subtitle correct, but a book called Boy Mom. I've talked about my children like 3 times now, for 2 minutes, but it's called Boy Mom, and it's about raising boys in contemporary life and some of the challenges that we're all facing as we navigate that with our sons.
I'm reading Division 6 of the LDRs regarding accessible residential units.
I think you're next. There's some order to this.
Yeah, basically, we're just going left to right, over and over and over again.
Well, in the morning, I read the Bible, and also Van Hopper is a book that I'm reading now. It's about the Holocaust, and there's a movie out about it, and so I'm reading about it, so I want to learn more about the Holocaust.
My sister Mary Ellen Frank gave me the book James by Percival Everett. It's Huck Finn from a different perspective. It's a tough read so far. Yeah.
Excellent. One perennial top issue in Teton County is housing. And as envisioned in our comprehensive plan, density is shifting to town, but the last dense housing development in the county could be over 1,200 homes in northern South Park. The build-out is expected to be at least 20 years from now and will increase the population of the greater town area by about 25%. What questions do you still have about the development?
Well, about that specific development, I think that's a town issue, but I think that we need to be discussing using our land outside of the county. I know that you guys want the density in the heart of the town, but there's so many landowners this direction, especially business owners, that could be resolving the problem for you by building 1,000 square foot units, 2,500 square foot units, and specific accessible residential units is what I'm talking about. So I don't know if that's a question. I'm wondering why we're not discussing it, I guess. Why are we not expanding into the county where we already own the land?
It's Vicky's turn.
Gonna keep you on track. Density in the town it's pretty heavy. I teach, I drive, I see the roads, I see everything because I go on every road. It is going to be a problem, and we're building and building. And I believe that we need to come up with some solutions. And as I don't have the solution. I am a we. I will be with other county commissioners to answer those questions. Because quite honestly, this isn't my deal. And it's also what you all want. I want to hear from you. And I want the county commissioners, we all need to work together on this, because it is a problem, and it's going to be a problem.
Thanks. The questions about the Northern South Park development and what to anticipate in the future. The zoning has been established, but the entitlements are not yet established. The scheduling of the development through time is as yet unknown. The capacity of the nonprofits to deliver by raising sufficient funds is an unknown. The traffic consequences on High School Road and potentially a connector between South Park Loop Road and Highway 89 are things that are hanging in the balance, and our school district has serious concerns about the increased population in our community and providing adequate school resources for the additional families and children that are going to come about. So I'm looking forward to all of us seeing the master site plan and giving our best guidance and teamwork on having a positive development at Northern South. Thanks.
Thank you. We have a lot of work to do on this area once the landowners, either or both, choose to opt in through the incentive-based zoning. And as part of that, we will get to work on those together as a community. So the questions that we'll all get to work on together have to do with transportation and connectivity, as well as our transit service and how it might reimagine that sector. We have questions about phasing and how they are linked together and how they envision it. And I think broadly, and probably what might be meaningful to all of you, is as we work on that site plan, what is the look and feel of the neighborhood? When we start to see where our streets, where our sidewalks, where are things happening, where are different types of housing going, how is the acreage being divided up, then we'll be able to have those conversations about the neighborhood and different places where everything is going and address some of those challenges. So for me, the look and feel, timing and phasing, and a lot of questions around transportation.
What is this?
Yep.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Virginia Lane. When you look at Gregory Lane, what is happening is that almost nobody wants that development that's over there. The residents, the business owners, and so the town and the county are making a lot of decisions without talking to the people that are over there. So I don't know what I'm seeing are ads being run and posts on the internet about trying to get people to a situation like this, but we're really not reaching out to those people over there. And how that's going to look, what I'm seeing are children coming through an industrial area and almost being hit by industrial vehicles. So we need to be talking about that, and I don't think that that's being addressed at all. I see people complaining that we're not giving access to children, but you're just not taking care of them either. So, yeah, I know there's a lot of development.
All right. In Summit County,
It's Vicky's turn to go first.
In Summit County, Colorado, the county is planning for the nation's first ever housing project on Forest Service land. The plan includes 162 affordable units on leased Forest Service land near the town of Dillon. If Teton County could get the same permission, would you consider a project similar to this?
The answer to that is no to me, okay? Because this is very precious land, it's beautiful, and we need to conserve it. We don't have to use our forest land or our park land to do that. That's my answer.
Sometimes I have the good fortune to get up high on the buttes around Jackson and look down over the valley, including seeing the town and the National Elk Refuge boundary. We have a very important and fundamentally profound urban growth boundary provided by the National Elk Refuge. Similarly, Snow King and Cache Creek provide an urban growth boundary for our town, protecting our public lands and keeping our public lands in public hands are just core to who I am and what I stand for. We are going to see some proposed development on Redmond down by the Putt-Putt Trail. So that's already in the works to have some U.S. Forest Service and other agency housing on Forest Service land in Teton County. But in general, we need to live within our means within the private land base of Teton County.
In some ways, I would argue that our Forest Service at times already is providing housing for some of our workforce, whether we intend for it to or not. As we think about actual development and building buildings, I think the Forest Service should be at the front end of that. I think projects like Len referenced that they are looking to serve their own employment needs, like federal agencies do in the national park and in other ways. I'm open to exploring. Do I see myself advocating for large swaths of our Forest Service to turn into housing? No. Our valley is very unique and special. But if the Forest Service brings opportunities forward, we should entertain those and talk about how we can partner to make them the best projects they can be to meet the needs of the community and to meet the needs of our federal partners who have to have a workforce to help manage and serve the land that we all value.
Yeah, pipe that Lynn mentioned is Nelson Drive. And I think Aaron Creswell just got $14 million worth of funding to get some housing for employees that are making $15 an hour. So when you think about our Forest Service, $15 an hour isn't going to buy them into a $7 million house in that housing that's being provided behind the Forest Service building. So we've got about 30% of the employees are in employee housing. 60% of those are in bunk houses. That's not going to work, and we're having a high turnover just as we are having with the fire department. We're training these people, but they can't stay. And so we do need to focus on that, and Nelson Drive is a good location with federal lands to provide housing that is a little bit more abundant for these people coming into our valley. And we need to be focused on this because our tourism, the destination stewardship group, our tourism is what gives us all of our affluence. That's where we get all of our money with our lodging tax. So we need to take care of that group of people. Those are essential workers.
Are there any ways in which you would like to see the town and county's affordable housing strategy change or include more or less people?
The best advice I've received and that I've accepted on the affordable housing challenge that has faced our community for at least 50 years. I've got a lovely letter that I've shared in other forums from Marty Murray from about 1977, in which she puts her foot down and says, you better take care of the people who are taking care of all of us and provide housing. The best advice I've received is all of the above. So it's affordable, it's workforce, maybe some market solutions, and I would just say that if I were to shift policy a little bit, I would favor taking care of essential workers, people who serve the public, benefiting from public money before we provide effectively subsidies for employers who also provide great jobs and have our friends and neighbors and some of us in this room. But until we get our essential workers and our public sector workers taken care of, they're the priority for me.
Thank you for this question. We need everyone in the community to bring all of their brain power to our affordable housing efforts. I'm so proud of the work that the town and county have been able to do, and particularly since we launched the housing department. The place that I think we need more thinking and ideas and trial and error is in preservation. And so by preservation, I mean homes that are existing today that might be affordable for the person that's living in it today because they bought at a good time. When they go to sell it themselves and maybe the job they have, they can't afford to buy that. That's the cheapest house in my mind that we can get because it's already built. And so figuring out ways to make our preservation program work for the folks in the homes, work for the folks that we want to get to the homes, as well as figure out ways to take rental units that are in town and try to bring some of those costs down. I don't think we've gotten there yet. We've tried some things, and I haven't seen a large uptake from the community, so I think we need to keep working on that so that we can preserve homes that we have, which is part of keeping the character that the community cherishes.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're all on the same page. We all know that this is an issue. I live with my parents, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. we all have to come together, like Natalia said, and we have to work with our advocacy groups and our nonprofits and with our government to get monies and information and research, and then the government's going to move some stuff around. Accessibility is a big deal. Like Len said, that with our essential workers can't even come into the town and stay, even if we give them a salary, we can't pay them enough. But then we've got our non-essential workers, which are essential, raft trip, fishing guides, all the kids that we, serve food. We got to take care of those guys too. So we need to continue talking about this. We all know that that's a problem. Housing is a problem. It's always been a problem.
I'm a researcher, and through my research, I like to thank J.H. Shelter for all your research, because I've done a lot of research and read your articles, and I think you've done a fabulous job. And I really believe that affordable housing is very important, but I live in the county, and I believe that I'm important, my house is important, and we're not focusing on us, the people who live in the county with their houses. And that's basically a very important thing to focus on, is the people who live here. I might not be able to live here too much longer because the housing is expensive. It's not just the housing, it's HOA, it's special services, which a lot of people don't even know what your special services are. It's called ISD. So it's really attacking my ability to live here, and I believe affordable housing is important, but I also believe that the residents that live here are important, and we need to focus on us too. Thank you.
It goes to Natalia.
Through this year's water quality management, though this year's water quality management plan showed bright spots of the county's water quality, it also lays out a vision of change. What did we as a community learn through the management plan process?
Thank you. Many things are easier when you do them earlier in development, like connecting people to sewer. I would say that's one we learned. But I think what I learned and what I'm really excited for us moving forward through the management plan is how it brought together a lot of organizations, individuals, and institutions that are focused on water behind a common effort. So we now have a blueprint so that everyone, whether you're an HOA working on your water system and trying to figure out fire suppression, whether you're a county commissioner and needing to prioritize places for sewer connections, whether you're the town and you're working on your wastewater treatment plan, or you run an ISD in Teton Village. We now all have a common language, a common document that we can use for decision making, we can use it for collaboration, and we can use it for prioritizing our resources, because we have a lot of tough decisions ahead of us. We've made progress, but really we've just set the stage for all of the work that we have to do moving forward. And I think the other part that is really cool to have seen in the trajectory of creating the plan is how we went from a lot of conversations of like, we don't have a water problem, or it's very isolated, or it's in this one place and not another, to now everyone in the community buying in and agreeing to it. And I don't think we'd be able to take the action that we're going to need to take next and invest the funds we're going to need to invest if the community as a whole wasn't educated and bought in on the effort.
Charlie, that was a loaded question. Natalie is the only one working on the document. But maybe I should have read it ahead of time so I could pick it apart. I haven't seen it. But that is right, the way that you said that is true. I don't know if you guys have met Robert Frodeman. We just brought him on for a HOBAC. He's great. $2 million worth of textbooks, and he is a professor in, I think, sewage. And then Protect Our Water has done a lot of good work for that treatment plant south of town. We need to. I don't think that any of us realized how much growth was going to happen so fast. With the pandemic, it just blew up, and we weren't prepared. But I'm excited that that document is out, and then we can all move forward on it as well.
Could you repeat that question?
Sure. water quality management plan and what we as a community learned through the plan process?
Well, the water quality has been around for a long time. It's been a problem in the county. And I'm focused more on the county because I live in the county. We do have septic tanks that are leaking. We do have sewer pipes that are leaking. It runs from the town down to the Elk Refuge towards Hoback. And it's a problem, and we need money. And I am glad that we did hire somebody for that, but it's been going on for a long time. So sometimes I'm wondering, why have we not done more on our water quality until now? It seems like it's been an ongoing thing. So somehow we have to get more money. We have the resources now, we have people, but you know, we've got to stop saying we got to do this, we got to do that. We've got to take action. And we need to do that with our water quality. And that's what I've learned, is that we need to continue and we need to do it. We got to quit saying, oh, what are we going to do? Do it.
Thanks. One of the challenges that our community faces with water quality is having a bunch of different water quality authorities and managing agencies within the county handling sewage in different organizations. The group Protect Our Waters Jackson Hole has done a wonderful job of educating us and harnessing public interest in this fundamental need that we all have of clean water and good stewardship for our water resources. One of the kind of wonky bureaucratic steps that I believe is in our future is bringing some of the different wastewater treatment authorities together and maybe having a regional wastewater management authority. Kind of boring stuff, but that can make a difference in having an organized response to a shared problem. So let's start there.
Send the microphone down to Melcher, please.
Besides water quality, our county's ecological uniqueness takes many forms, like air quality and natural habitats. What do you see as Teton County's biggest ecological vulnerabilities?
The wildlife migration is a big deal if you start looking at the Stilson lot, and then if you start looking at children being able to cross the street on the highway, is it Moose Wilson Road? I think how are you going to get the kids across the street and not interrupt that wildlife migration at the same time? Air quality. I was just thinking about this morning. I don't know how much the county has to do with air quality, how we do that, so that is a good question. Maybe Natalie is working on it already, I don't know. So, sorry, I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Thanks. Okay. There's a couple things. Ecosystems. We have wetlands. We're destroying our wetlands. We really are. I live in an area right now that shouldn't have been built on. It was wetlands. And there's problems. We need to work on our wildlife. We're building all this stuff. We're asphalting everything. Where are the animals going to go? I see more roadkill now than I've ever seen in my life on these roads. It's because the animals have nowhere to go. And now the fire is causing a lot of the animals to come down. So we need to really work on our ecosystem here. We have it, we just need to keep it. And that's going to take all of you and the county commissioners to work together, because it's mostly in the county. I did see some bears though in town, 3 of them. And I do believe we need to keep Carnes Meadow over there, because that's a hangout. That's a hangout for our wildlife. And we're wanting to take that. We do not want to take that, okay? Because that's the only place these little critters have to go, and the animals. So we need to take care of our wetlands and our wildlife, okay? Thank you.
Thanks. I think the question is, what's the biggest threat to wildlife and the ecology of Teton County and Jackson Hole? And I hope you're all waiting for someone to say climate change. If you are, here it is. And while I'm on that subject, just a quick moment of concern for the people in West Florida by Tampa with a hurricane coming down on them. This stuff is real. It's part of our lives. It's changing people's lives, their homes. It'll change the vegetation in Jackson Hole, make some plant species more prolific and push some out. It'll send the picas higher and higher. Where the hell are they going to go? It'll affect our snowfall, how when it arrives, how long it lasts, how tense it is, how soon it departs, how soon our rivers and streams run off, how strong our storms are, what our rivers carry and what the levees can handle. Climate change is a real thing. I am so glad to be a registrant for the Mountain Towns 2030 Climate Summit at the Center for the Arts next Tuesday and Wednesday. As soon as I saw that, and they've got a particular focus on what local governments can do, so that it's not just some big thing that is a source of concern and anxiety and worry for all of us, but there has to be a way for local government and local citizens to contribute to a better future than we would have if we don't get our act together. So I hope to help us get our act together on climate change.
Thank you. I see two things in our horizon. One is how we deal with our visitor population. The parks are really thinking hard about this and about what their future is, and how we continue to share our national parks with all of our nation and the world, but how we protect what they are intended to do and all the wind around it. So I think we have work to keep going in that effort. And then our resiliency, as Len mentioned, around climate change and how we are preparing ourselves to adapt, how we're thinking about what we need to do both within our built environment and in our natural environment, and continuing to educate ourselves, the next generation, and all of our visitors around that, because we are in a very, very delicate balance and the tipping point is coming.
That's right. Thank you.
The Board of County Commissioners is responsible largely for land use decisions, but commissioners have the power to steer priorities and put money towards other issues like childcare facilities, transportation, or county employee compensation. What social or economic issues should get more play in the county commission chambers?
I believe transportation and the infrastructure is very important. You know, we talk about childcare. I know a lot of women who have children, and they are charged $5 a minute, because they don't get to their child to pick them up in time. So if you multiply 5 times 10, that's $50. So we have a problem with our infrastructure. And if we don't change it, we're gonna still go through this craziness that we just did with the road structure. That was 25 years that they finally asphalted those roads. We have a problem in this county with the infrastructure. And that's my biggest deal is the, even with the South Park. So I hope I'm answering this question that you asked me. So this is what I believe. I believe that we need to work on the infrastructure, the most important. We even have service guys who can't even get to some of these jobs because of the roads. I had one guy who told me one of his employees quit because the traffic was so bad. So we need to come up with some solutions. And yeah, we said here and all, yeah, that's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It is. So as a county commissioner, and I'm going to be working with 4 other people, I would be number 5, and we would work on this solution. I'm not sure how we're going to do it because we're pretty deep into this right now, but we can try. And we need your voices as well. Thank you.
Most of the county budget goes to pay for people. We're a human, or the county is a human resources organization largely. We have to take care of the people who work for the county. The next Board of County Commissioners will start out being very well served by our current interim administrator, Jody Pond. But she's an interim administrator. The board is going to have to hire a new leader for the county staff. That's a really important position. Picking the right person, helping that person get integrated in our community. Lord knows we've seen so many leadership level positions filled in Teton County by people who just didn't graft on, didn't take, didn't manage to get a foothold here. So making that selection, picking a really good person, and then helping that person, if they're not already oriented at the community, really gain a strong foothold and lead the community and lead the county staff in a way where people are happy to come to their jobs, they feel understood, respected, well compensated, and able to bring their best effort to public service. That's going to be a high priority for me. I am momentarily looking at my sister Susan. We grew up in a public service household. Our dad was our village manager for 17 years and did a great job in leading our town. And so I have a special soft spot for people who work in local government, who provide those services. We need to manage them. And then, since I still have a few seconds left on Susan's card, also just strong support for mental health in Jackson Hole. This is a tough place for a lot of people. We need to support our mental health services in Teton County.
Thank you. I have been, will continue to sit here and tell you that we have more work to do in early childhood education and childcare. In Wyoming, we invest so much money in K-12 education and in higher education, but the first 5 years of a child's life are when brain development occurs that impacts the rest of their life. So at the county so far, what this has looked like is supporting infrastructure around affordable housing. That includes childcare space. So at our Marcel project, we had an RFP, and so the Children's Museum and a childcare provider will also have subsidized rent and stable facilities to do their work. But we have more to do. So that is the floor of what we've been able to do at the county. A lot of the work that we need to do with childhood and early childhood education has to happen in collaboration with the state, and so continuing to press the points on those issues and then do what we can. Our participation in our human service sector is vital for those organizations. In Wyoming, across our whole state, we've chosen to provide many of those services via nonprofits, and our county partnership with those organizations has only gotten stronger and will continue to need to do so as many of those organizations are impacted by state financial areas. And then the last place that we are continuing the conversation based off of our SPET funding, we'll be looking at the needs of seniors and older adults in the valley and what their future is and how we have infrastructure needs along with programming needs for that population.
I have to admit I was embarrassed that I didn't really think about the ecology. I promise that I will think more about the environment moving forward because I know that's important to all of you. I'm glad that you brought up SPAT. I think that we need to recognize that there's 15 programs that are receiving SPAT at this time, and now we're going to vote for another SPAT. And we do need the new Justice Center. If you don't vote on the SPAT, you're going to get a mill levy. Right? You're going to get a loan from the state for about, $40 million. So we need to be thinking about that. But the thing is, with the SPATs, I think that as a culture, we should start thinking about maybe finishing projects before we start voting on new projects. And then I also think about the START bus. Maybe it could stop at South Park and Melody Ranch and Rafter J. I know we can't afford to get a whole bus out there, it's too expensive, but it is coming in from Alpine. Again, we need the children to cross the street at the highway out at Moose Wilson Road. So that's the type of things I do think about, and I didn't have an answer for ecology, but I will figure one out.
Lynn gets to start this one.
Thank you.
Though the issues are important, we also want insight into your approach to governance. After all, a county commissioner needs 2 other votes on a board of 5 to have effect. These are our last crop of questions before taking some from the audience. Tell us about a time that made you doubt yourself as a leader.
maybe give you a better answer, and maybe I'll play my red card because I paused on that a little bit. The Board of County Commissioners, as everybody's highlighted, and it's certainly true, is a team effort. It takes 3 votes to get something going forward. It's nice to have 5, and I would hope that I would bring in leadership style, a readiness to sit still and listen and not say anything as long as the meeting is going in a good direction, doesn't need guidance, people are on track, just help things move along. If I'm in a supporting role and I can help us stay on track, I'll do that. And if there's a time for me to have a leadership role on a particular issue or a question, I'm happy to assert myself. Really, I meant to use both cards to find some place where I just messed up in leadership. It's embarrassing not to have good answers. I'm proud of the work that I've done at the Old Wilson Schoolhouse to bring that facility into being, to support the wild and scenic rivers. I've had a lot of good success, and I'm I guess embarrassed not to think of bad stuff, but there you have it. Sorry.
Thank you. What comes to mind first when you ask this question, and probably one of the most challenging periods in my life as a county commissioner, was when we had to make decisions in the first year of the pandemic, and feeling wholly unqualified to be deciding which rooms you should have a mask, which room you shouldn't, should we close, should we open, and being surrounded by a lot of information flying at you really fast, and the stakes felt really, really, really high, because they were really, really high. And having to work together, with our community and work together with the state that had a different perspective than what our community really wanted to see. And getting I remember a lot of really difficult conversations with colleagues, with leaders at the state level, and trying to explain what we were doing, trying to decide, do we take a vote on that thing? Will that be helpful if we take a vote, even if it's only for show? Is that what the community needs so that they know? And those kind of decisions that felt like none of us had the tools, and we were building it as we went, and just put me as an individual through a really big gauntlet. And I think I was doubting myself every day. I think now I doubt myself all the time on everything, and that there's multiple answers to everything that we do. But that trial, I think for me personally, and I would say for our community, really had to go through a lot together. I think we came out as best we could on the other side and are really strong in a lot of other ways. But it was the longest sustained period of doubt I have had in my life.
Has anybody noticed that I twitch and blink a lot? I have Tourette's, and so I do that when I get tense. I think that the biggest learning curve for me this year was finding out how little the county commissioner actually does, because I started out with the statutes, reading down because I was looking for mill levies for school construction with a lobbyist group that I was trying to run. And then as you kind of go down, the county commission doesn't actually have as much power as you would think, and that was surprising to me. And then so it's starting to try to find your role within all of that, and then going through the agendas and seeing how much is done. And so I commend you for being able to show up every day and go through the list of things that needs to be done. But that was a big learning curve, is figuring out exactly what the county commissioner is doing.
I played many leadership roles. I'm a teacher. I work for U.S. Field Hockey. I play high-level soccer. So when did I ever doubt? I was a captain, so I am a team player, and I do listen to everyone, because you can't have a team with I, you gotta have we. So some of the things I ever doubted when I was at those levels was that maybe I put the wrong kid in the wrong place, or player in the wrong place, but sometimes comes out the way, I don't like to say I doubt because I'm very athletic and I'm a teacher, so I don't like that doubt word because we overcome our doubt. We overcome it, and I've overcome my doubt. But sometimes I put the people in the wrong place, and maybe I told a student the wrong thing. So that's my doubt. So that's it.
Awesome. And go ahead.
Probably have time for just one more question before summaries. But I would like to invite you all to stay until after that presentation, because we do have about a half hour so that you can come up and mingle a little bit.
Does this include audience questions? Should I just ask an audience question now?
Yeah, if you would.
Perfect. The most frequent topic asked about in these questions is the fairgrounds in town. However, since it came up and sits somewhat in guidance of county commissioners, people are wondering what is your position on housing at the fairgrounds and it's staying at its current location. If you can talk broadly about your perspective on that land use issue, please.
Thank you. The county operates the county fair. We have a fair board, and right now our fairgrounds are located in town. As far as I know, that's where they're staying for the foreseeable future. Our fair board is very interested in having more opportunities for support for agricultural activities that are constrained by the fairgrounds. So I think the confusion that may be occurring in the conversation in the community is, are we moving the fairgrounds? The fairgrounds are not slated to be moved. We don't have a location to move them to. If a bigger, better venue presented itself and we could afford it, would I be willing to consider that? Absolutely. The Fair Board made a strong case for the kinds of activities that we could see there in addition to the fair that would really support the many multiple uses. Unless that likely unicorn property falls into our lap tomorrow, I am in favor of the fairgrounds where they are. We intend to renew our lease at the county with the town, as we recently indicated in a letter to them, and we'll start working on that. But if anybody has land they want to donate that might be suitable for a broader fairgrounds, I'm sure we'd be happy to consider that. And so my position is the fairgrounds is where the fairgrounds is, unless a better opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, I think that we shouldn't confuse the fairgrounds with the rodeo. I was surprised that when I was talking about the rodeo that some of the people that are most active in the housing discussion don't know who the Wilson family is. And that is a family on Hog Island, south of town, that raises livestock and sustains their family using the rodeo. The fairgrounds is now encroaching on the rodeo property as we've moved that housing across the street. And so I think it's a question of like old school families and new culture that doesn't understand who the older families are. Fairgrounds come out of statute, and so we're required by statute to have a fairgrounds, but that doesn't have to be the size that we have. And I think that a lot of people that were in the rodeo fairgrounds discussion were disappointed in the letter that came out of the county. They felt that what the county had promised them wasn't representative in the letter when I sent that out to a group of people. And so I think, I don't know what you're asking exactly. I don't know why it came back up. People are talking about the fairgrounds again for some reason. When they stop talking about it, now they're doing it, I don't know why.
We need to keep the county fair and fairgrounds.
Send it to Vicki, please.
Thank you. Well, let me tell you who I am. I am a FFA girl. If you don't know what that is, Future Farmers of America. I grew up that way, and also a Voyager. I showed Angus and Herefords. So I'm very much for the fairgrounds because of the young people that attend that fairgrounds. And You know, right now, they don't have a place. 26 acres was part of the fairgrounds. Now they're down to 12 acres. So they've kind of taken a lot of their property. But I believe to keep the fairground in town, because a lot of tourists go there, they walk there. And you guys, the 4-H'ers are awesome. If you've never been to the fair, go to it. The 4-H'ers really love the fair. Now, I'm willing to do whatever the people want to do, okay? Whatever you all want to do, I'll do, okay? Because it isn't about me. It isn't about me. It's about the kids, it's about your community. And that's how I feel.
Sorry for the ill time to start. We keep the fair at the fairgrounds unless and until we get a better option. That's just a basic idea of taking care of county assets. Is the current fairgrounds the end-all and be-all of the best possibility for county fairgrounds? Maybe, maybe not. But unless we get a better option, it's going to be there. One of the ways that I like to learn is to do field trips. So when I saw this issue for the last, who knows how many years, rising in prominence, I sought out recently Mary Beth Hansen, who's on the fair board, has been there for 10 years. She was a volunteer leading equestrian activities for 7 years before that. And we spent an hour and a half just walking around the fairgrounds, and I wanted to see every corner, every site, every sort of logistical concern that she has and the fair board has, and kind of hear a point of view from somebody who's really well informed on that. And I was, pleased to hear that she says, of course, we work with it here. We want to keep it here because we don't have anywhere else to go. But there are challenges. It's tough to get a horse trailer through our town streets just in and out of the fairgrounds. It's possible that there could be a better location. Natalie referred to, if a unicorn property makes itself available to us at an available price, could we move it somewhere else that would be a better fit for schools and kids? That's a possibility, and so I'm open to that. But until we do that, leave it where it is.
Okay, Melcher, you can start with your summary, and you get 1 minute.
Okay, that's for a summary. Melcher Moore, I hope that when all of you guys start voting on October 8th, that you can vote until November 5th. And I look forward to serving on the county commission for the next 4 years and continuing to research these issues as Natalie has done for the past 6. And honestly, I think that Len Klarman and I would do very good working together. I'm a paralegal working through the court systems, and Len does this on a daily with land development regulations and real estate. I think that we would work very well together.
Well, if you wonder why I'm here, I grew up, my uncle was a county commissioner. I grew up near Camp David. I got to see the presidents come in. So this is in my blood. And people wonder, oh, this driver's ed teacher, what does she know? Well, I grew up in a family with county commissioners, and my grandmother would always have dinners. But I'm here for you. I'm your voice. I listen, and I am your voice. I will try to do what's best for the community. I've been in the community for 27 years. I know this community, I know the kids, I know their voices. I hear their cries when they sit in my car and they say, Miss Vicki, we'll never be able to come back here and have a house. And I am praying that one day these students will be able to say, I live in Jackson Hole, and that's why I'm doing this. And I'll represent you, I will. I'm your voice.
I had the good fortune of starting my professional career in 1983 as an intern at the Jackson Hole Alliance for Responsible Planning. Stayed there for 9 years, finished the last 4 as executive director. Had great mentors in Story Clark and Holly Dill. Sandy Shuptrine and I were office mates for many years. She's been a guide and leader for me. She served 12 years on the Teton County Commission. I'm 63 years old. My kids are grown. It's a good time in my life to serve on another public board or a public board as a Teton County Commissioner. I'd like to do that. I've got an ad going in the News and Guides Special Election Edition on, I think, October 16th. It's a half-page ad, has some detail in it. The font's pretty small, but I said let's run it in a small font because I want to lay out my priorities so that if and when you elect me, I can join the Board of County Commissioners and say, here are my priorities, fellow commissioners, the voters want me to do this, let's do this together. Can we please move forward together? With your vote, I look forward to doing that. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm going to use my red card. I have a poem above my kitchen sink that I'm going to share with you. It's by Rupi Kaur. To hate is an easy, lazy thing, but to love takes strength everyone has, but not all are willing to practice. As a parent, I succeed and fail on a daily basis, so I get lots of practice in patience, in empathy, forgiveness, and many times just deep breathing. And sometimes this practice makes me feel strong and capable, and sometimes it just feels really hard. I have never been one to choose the easy route, so the growth cycle presented by parenting and elected office really suit my personality and my daily reality. Democracy is hard work. Caring for our community, especially when we disagree about a lot of things, is really hard work, and it's hard work that we have to do together. There are no magic wands to solve any of the challenges we're facing, but we can't stick our head in the sand and delay practical action that can make a meaningful difference in people's lives. If we let hate rule us, we will not reach our goals. We will leave a path of destruction. And despite the many challenges that we face in Teton County, I know our community is strong because love is what propels us. I've seen us weather an unprecedented public health crisis and still continue to build more affordable housing units than ever. We face an uncertain financial future in the county, yet our community still says yes to things we need, like a new rec center that will serve more people. We've pulled together to deal with transportation setbacks and still managed to keep our water quality management plan moving forward. And we launched an all-of-community mental health effort, and we're still working on our natural resource protections. I've been visiting neighbors all over the county, and I'm energized by you and how much you care about this place. So I urge you, as we approach Election Day and want to retreat into the divisive hate that is so easy to fall back onto, not to do so, to keep showing up and working hard, and I ask for your vote so that I can do the same. Thank you.
Well, thank you all. This has been really great. I appreciate your coming tonight. And give us a couple of minutes and we'll get that presentation going.